just landed. This is Little Port Walter in Alaska Fish Hatchery and Research Station. Backdrop of the mountains. What a great trip. Took us about an hour to get here from Sitka. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nathan.
Nathan, Maria.
I'm glad to meet you, Maria. This is the view of the fish hatchery station here in Little Port Walter, and here is the NOAA boat, the Katmai, that is used by the scientists and the people here that run this station. We're walking up the gangplank to the maintenance facilities. Another service boat, and these are the sheds that house all kinds of equipment, as well as the fish hatchery is in there. We've already got pictures of that. It's just a kind of an outside walking view. There's the wood and the metal shop right here. Here's the maintenance barns, and actually the fish hatchery is right in there, where that is the fries are kept until they're moved down into the saltwater pens. And all kinds of equipment in here. This is just some of it. There's other equipment elsewhere. And we're walking up now toward the generator. There's actually 3 generators in there that run the electricity for this whole station. And in there are the tanks that hold several thousand. This is Ryan. He's cleaning the fish trays. These are the trays that they put the fish eggs, the salmon eggs into when they take them out of the salmon. And this room is full of trays right here that they will then use to put the salmon eggs in. And then when the salmon hatch, the babies, then they get put into large tubs where they spend a number of months being fed and fattened, and we'll see what those look like in a moment. The eggs out of the hens, and then
in August we're going to do that. So we took these last August.
Oh, look at them.
We made them all winter.
These are all little baby king salmons.
Yep. About 25,000.
25,000 in this one? Yep. Wow.
So,
and you feed
some tricks for you.
Oh. And they're fed about 9 times a day, given fish food. And the fish food is, it's in here. Scoops are thrown in. So this is where they are. Fresh water from Tajci Creek is pumped into each of these. You see tubes, and fresh water is coming in all the time, trying to replicate what salmon fry would be living in under their natural conditions. So I'm going to put this GoPro, I've been given permission to put the GoPro right down in the school of fish. And you can see what it looks like. Now, how long will they stay in here?
We're going to move them down in about 2 weeks. We're going to move them down to the VRs down on the
So you just begin to acclimate them?
Yeah, this is just for startup.
And then how long do they stay there before you release them?
We'll release them next May.
Oh, they stay down there for quite a while.
Yeah.
So they're like your kids.
Yeah, we feed them to smolt size, which is, they're finger length. They're about that big. So, and we just did that on Friday.
So what percentage come back out of all that?
The ocean survival right now for the king salmon is only, or here is only about 2%.
And so here, right now, this is the end of May. This is May 29th, the date is today. And in a few days, all of these are going to be hand carried down to down this gangplank here. Going to be hand carried, and they're going to be put into these fish pens down here. So they go down here, and you see that down into these blue fish pens. And the workers here have been cleaning the fish pens. And these are the fish pens here. And they've been getting them ready to fill with water. Once they're in there for a while, then they will be acclimated and moved into these pens over here. And that's where then the fries then will be put in there to acclimate to seawater. And then eventually then they will be released into Little Port Walter, which then goes to the sea. So here's a close-up look of the blue pens that the salmon fry will be moved into, and there's a whole bunch of these. You see out here, they're kind of out here in the bay, and they are, water will be put in here, and the salmon fry will then grow, and they will get larger and larger and larger, and at some point in time they will be moved into these pens here, which they're actually nets that are actually in the bay, and the nets go down into the water of the bay, which is salty, and then they will then grow, and then they will be released as salmon, king salmon smolt, into the bay, and then they will then go from the bay out into Chatham Strait, and then into the Pacific Ocean, where then they will spend a few years maturing, going from smolt into mature king salmon, and then in several years they will come back, and the process will start over again. So this is a dam and a weir here where they catch the fish and study them, and this is Tajci Creek, and this goes out to the bay, Little Port Walter, which then goes out to the straits. Beautiful area. And when the salmon are running in August, the shore over there is full of grizzly bears, just dozens of them eating fish with their cubs, and it's quite the scene. This is actually where they do fish counts, and the fish that are coming upstream, cohos, dolly vardens, and what were the other fish? Several different types of salmon and trout that come up here, and then they spawn up there in the meadow area. And actually there's a lake up there, Satchin Lake, and this is the cabin here where the scientists, the marine biologists, do their studies. And they've got these are the microchips that get put into the larger fish. They have dolly varden, chum, chinook, cohos, and I can't read that other, but anyway, they could come up here, and there's a whole. This facility was started like in about 1934, and these are some pretty old buildings, and the dam was built like in about 1934, and it's been maintained and updated, and so anyway, this is our government helping to manage the fisheries and be good stewards of the earth. Here's the the Weir cabin right there that was built, like I say, in the 1930s. And beautiful scenery. This goes up to called Bear Meadows, and eventually a few miles up is Satchin Lake, which this flows out of. And then this here is where the scientists do their work inside that building. And there's Dr. Longo over there, the biologist. Hey, hi there. That is up here at the present time doing the studies. And we're about to go check to the fish trap. They monitor all the fish that come up. Now this chute down here, all the fish that come downstream, they go through here and they come down this chute, and then they get caught in that. There's a trap down there, and we will be monitoring. Those are the ones that are going out, and then the ones that are coming in, they come up this that are coming upstream, spawning upstream. They come up out of the bay and up here, and then they come in through this entrance here, and then they get caught in this fish trap here, which was right there. And then the scientists then monitor the fish, and they each fish that comes in is genetically identified, and some have they're all fin clipped, and some have microchips in them, and they take a clip off the fin and identify it genetically. Each fish has its own genetic marker, and that way they're able to monitor the the flow of fish and the return rate, and kind of gives us an indicator of how the fish population is doing, and is it growing, is it diminishing, and this kind of thing. So anyway, this is a weir. This is a dam. This dam was built in the 1930s.
We run the weir, and we keep the Chinook down here in the bay because they're non-native, and there's native steelhead, pink chum, and cohos that we pass up the creek, and they spawn.
And this is Bear Meadows.
There's some old pink salmon jaws.
Pink salmon jaws? So a bear brought this up.
Yeah, they feed.
Interesting. Salmon jaw from this is up a little about 75 feet from the creek. This is Dr. Gary Longo, and he's doing studies on the salmon. And this is they're here at Satchin Creek at Little Port Walter Cove, and these salmon. This is a coho. They have chips and microchips in them, and they study them their migratory habits. And there's a fish trap here.
Got it. Okay, put her back in the net.
That's a coho?
Steelhead. Steelhead.
Oh, steelhead.
411-248-5745.
Nope.
411.
And keeping track of the of those returning to this spot here, and that way they can keep track of kind of have an idea of how the fish populations are doing.
Let her go.
So that has a chip in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this has a chip in it. They record it. Beautiful steelhead.
Yeah. Round face. You can tell she's spawned out. She'll be able to swim out on her own, but it's okay. It's pretty good.
He's got some little juvenile steelhead. They're just tossing right back. They're too small to do anything with.
Little coho.
Oh, they're little cohos.
That's a little coho.
Oh, that's cute. They'll fall through the cracks in the... No, don't go down there. Oh.
Oh, we got a couple Dolly Vardens here.
Dolly Vardens. So those are sea-run trout, aren't they?
Yep. That guy's coho. These three are Dolly Vardens. See how long they are?
Wow. So those are, what, a year or two old?
Probably, yeah. 1 or 2. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So Gary is dipping the steelhead out. He's going to put him into a bucket of medicine that anesthetizes him, and then he's going to measure him and weigh him and then fin clip him once he is out. How long does that process take to?
3 minutes. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Okay.
It's called MS-222, MS-222, and it's just a general anesthetic. And we have the vials here for all the smolts, which are the returning juveniles going back to sea. So they're just labeled, pre-labeled. You can see.
Is that genetic?
There's a fin clip in there. So I probably won't be able to see it. Maybe you will see it.
Oh, you saved the fin clip.
Yeah.
And you keep track of it? Well, how do you preserve it?
This is 95% ethanol.
Okay, so it's like a formaldehyde kind of a thing.
Well, formaldehyde actually is no good for DNA.
Oh.
It destroys DNA.
So you'll actually keep them for genetic everything on the steelhead at least. 'Cause there's not that many, yeah.
All the steelhead. Every single individual that goes back, we take a fin clip. And so we then have their unique DNA sequence. We can identify them when they come back.
Wow, amazing. So basically each steelhead in this stream is known by name, by DNA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So now he's kind of gone to sleep. He's asleep. He's hanging out, having a good time in La La Land. So we weigh him. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Record him, and then his unique DNA will be. I'm talking to the.
Yep.
I'm narrating. I'm repeating back what you taught me. And then his unique DNA will be put into the. He's being fin clipped.
A little bit of the pelvic fin.
So do you actually take a DNA sample here, or does it have to go into a lab?
So I'm not working on the DNA extraction for this project, but when I do it, I take it back to the lab. It's just really a series of chemical reactions to get purified genomic DNA.
Yeah. Nice fish. Are those? What are those? So you just leave them right in the net there.
Yeah,
they just kind of hang out for a little bit. So these are a couple nice steelhead. All right.
Down.
So each fish that comes in here is tagged and marked, and they know exactly what its genetic marker is. Its genetic identification, and that way they can help to monitor. They know what's going on as far as the flow of the fish populations and how they're doing and all that. So this steelhead is already anesthetized, and then you just pulled a little piece of fin.
Yep.
And that's going to be the genetic sampling. It's going to go in a vial, and he will have his own. He'll be cataloged. This particular, he or she or whatever it is.
Like a fingerprint.
Like a fingerprint.
Each genome is completely unique to each individual. So it's like fingerprinting them.
Yeah.
DNA. Okay. Now we're gonna get her up here.
You think it's a her?
Yeah, I can tell already by the head shape.
Oh, okay. Is it more pointed?
It's more rounded, actually.
Oh, more rounded. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a female.
So we're gonna weigh it and measure it.
We'll take a fork length. So she's 57.6 centimeters.
This is for your own good.
No.
So how long can a fish live out of water like this without much, without fresh water coming out of their gills?
It depends on the fish.
Okay.
So remember that gunnel we found the other day?
Yeah.
They're out of water. They can be out of water for 24 hours if they're wet, because they can breathe through their skin. These guys, These guys can't.
Okay.
There's no tag in her.
So you're gonna put a tag?
I'm gonna put a tag in.
Cool. So this is one that probably went out last year, and it hasn't. This is the first time it's come back.
Probably, yeah.
So we're tagging the fish. Got a little microchip in there.
This part, as always.
It says no. Oh, it is definitely a female.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of pain there. That's why she squirted the eggs out.
Yeah.
She's got a lot more eggs in there. Oh, and then you glue it. Close it up. A little super glue. Gorilla glue.
Close it up. And the last thing I do is I'm going to take scales. We take them from above the lateral line in between these two, the dorsal and the anal.
For more genetic sampling?
For aging, actually.
Oh, aging. Do the scales have rings on them, like tree rings?
Exactly.
No kidding. So you just look at it with a high power, like a lens?
A microscope.
With a microscope, okay. They have a microscope in there, or do you have to send that in?
We do this back at the lab.
Okay. So you'll be taking some stuff back with you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. And now, take her back in this net, and then put her in fresh water to recover.
We've been hiking down the face of this waterfall, starting up there, climbing hand over hand down the cliff. Jared is fishing with a fly in each of these little pools. Gary is fin clipping a little rainbow trout up in his falls, up here below Salmon Lake. Take a genetic sample. Now he's taking a picture of it. I'm on the wrong side. About 8-inch trout. Now he's going to let it go, unhook it and let it go for genetic studies. There it goes. Took off. Cool. Waterfalls. It was living in this pool right here. Amazing. Been clipping a rainbow trout for genetic sampling. Well, I got to see my first grizzly that wasn't 6 miles away. Yeah. How did you get interested in fish? Oh, well, first of all, okay, you and Maria run the Port Walter, Little Port Walter. What, NOAA Fish Hatchery? Is that the official term?
Research station.
Research. So, what would you call yourself? What is your job title? I heard the term fish culturist go by yesterday. I don't know if that's what you know.
I do a little bit of everything, but I'm a fisheries technician and maintenance technician. Both.
Now, you started your career down in Oregon. I know you went to a community college there. I think it was Mount Hood Community College.
Mm-hmm.
And what got you interested in fish and fishing, and then you got involved in an educational program that then launched you into your career in Alaska?
Yeah, I just like to fish a lot, and there's always fish hatcheries around, so my mom suggested I try it, and volunteered at a fish hatchery for a while, and I really enjoyed it.
In Oregon?
In Oregon, and they recommended I go to Mount Hood Community College, and I went up there and got a degree, and came up here because there's lots of work.
So, are there very many community colleges that have this kind of a degree that they offer?
Well, it's just an associate's degree, and there's another one up in Bellingham, Washington, but definitely Mount Hood is the best one to go to, for sure.
Cool. So, what are some of the? This is like what your third position at a fish hatchery kind of a thing, or something like that, or your second that you've up here in Alaska?
Probably my fourth or fifth.
Oh, okay.
Position.
So what are some of the things? What have you done to work yourself into this very responsible position? You know, the steps up to this point.
Started off as a seasonal employee and just worked and gained permanent employment, and then worked at long enough but moved around enough to gain experience in multiple different areas.
So how many years has that been now since you've been doing?
6 or 7.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the I don't know, just kind of shoot off the top of your head here to answer this question. What are some of the more exciting aspects of this job? Well, first of all, why don't you explain what you do here, what this operation at Little Port Walter does?
Well, this is a research station. One of my primary goals is to assist with the fish culture of 200,000 king salmon that we release annually every year. And there's also other research projects that go on throughout different times of the year, and I assist with those, and those are varying. I can't even mention all the different ones, but all sorts of different research projects. And then when I'm not working with fish or research, I am also a half-time maintenance guy, and I am busy turning a wrench and keeping everything running.
Right. So, so this is a research station. So you have this is run by the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration.
Yeah.
I get that right?
Yep.
That's the Weather Service people, but they do a lot of other things besides Weather Service, because ocean is in the title of their name. So this is would be the ocean side of things, the fisheries and so forth. So they do. You say they do a lot of.
Whoa!
What was that?
That was a mink.
A mink.
Zeppelin.
There's all kinds of wildlife around here. I saw him sticking his tail out. A mink underneath the duck pen. That's the duck pen there. The ducks are buttoned up, and they have a wire bottom, and there was a mink. And of course, minks like to eat birds, and the dog took after it. This is great. I love it. This is Alaska, folks.
Hey, Bubba, come here.
This is Alaska, folks. You never know when a grizzly bear is going to pop up, or a brown bear, or a mink, or some predator, and that's the excitement of it. Yesterday we were hiking up into the mountains above the creek here that runs into this bay, this port, and we were surprised by a grizzly bear that was not very far away. He popped his head up, and we scared him off. Anyway, this is Alaska, folks. This is great. I love it. I love it. This is real life, and the dog is out smelling and looking for that mink, which was gone in a flash the moment it saw the dog. That dog earns his keep. That's the Zeppelin back there. We'll zoom in. Here comes Zeppelin. Hi, Zeppelin. He is half German Shepherd and half lab, and he is quite the dog. He is a real Alaskan dog, so he's in this video too. I love it. This is great. This is great. This is great video. So anyway, where were we? Okay, so the scientific research. This is a scientific station. So there's NOAA sending scientists in, at least during the summer months of the year. They're doing all kinds of genetic research and migratory stuff and whatever they do.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a whole place over here, another building, a house where the scientists come and stay in, and the house in the background here is where Jared and Maria live. This is their personal house. So anyway, what is the most fulfilling and rewarding, would you say, about this job for you personally?
Well, it's always nice when the fish come back as adults and to see your hard work show off.
It's kind of like your kids coming back.
Yeah, kind of.
A little bit.
And a lot of fishermen catch our fish, and I know that some of my work helps other people out as well.
Uh-huh.
And I really enjoy working with the different researchers, like Dr. Longo, for example. And I enjoy, a lot of people come out here to learn, and they learn a lot when they're out here, and I enjoy seeing people learn.
So I think one of the things that intrigues me the most, and we've talked about this for the last few days off and on that I've been here, but it's kind of busy during the summer season, if you will, when it's not so cold. But you got about at least about 8 months of the year or so where it's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of people coming, and it's you and Maria and maybe a maintenance guy, and of course the dog and the ducks that are back there, and the mink and the squirrels and the bears and the eagles and the seagulls and all the other things that are around here, all the wildlife. But anyway, as far as the human side of things go, I know you have a lot to do to keep yourself busy around here, but what's it really like? I mean, in just a few words, the best you can explain, these long months where you get about 300 inches of rain a year, and it's a little dark, and long days. How do you guys cope with that?
Well, it's hard.
Not for everyone.
We just try to stay busy, even though it's difficult. And there's things to do. I'm usually hunting until December, so I'm out and about every day hunting. And I trap in the late winter, early fall for fur, and that gets me out every day in the snow, and you just got to stay active.
And you got your own boat, so you get out and do some fishing.
Well, not so much.
Not
fishing.
in the winter.
I get a lot of my maintenance projects done, and
no, not in the winter. Okay.
And in the summer, but the summer's easy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're here at the little Port Walter fish. Oh gosh, what's the official name? It's a fish.
Port Walter Field Station.
Field Station. All right. And we're talking to Ryan, and I just learned that his last name is Bear. I thought maybe it was B-E-A-R, but it's B-A-R-E. But that's still a great name to have in bear country. I don't know if his parents planned or that was his destiny to end up here. But as we were just talking about, bears and fish figure very prominently in this region, at least coastal, southeast coastal Alaska, where a lot has to do with fish, and a lot of the life of the people here revolve around fishing, their livelihood, as well as food. I think I've had more different kinds of fish here than I've had about anywhere else. They know how to cook fish, but bears also. There's a dynamic balance between humans and bears and fish, and then you got the weather and the sea. So anyway, you got a great name. It sounds like a good Alaskan name. So you came up here from?
Came up here from Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia, and you've been up here several years?
Over 4 years now. I live in Juneau.
Juneau. And do you have a family, or?
I have a longtime girlfriend.
Okay. So you're here at this station for a few days, filling in for Maria, who's the manager here. So what are your duties here, and then maybe talk about what you do otherwise, in your now you're a contractor. You work for NOAA or
for a company called Ocean Associates, and the job here on paper for this place, what I do is I'm the field research leader, and I help out with the culture. Right now we're getting ready for some summer projects, and then in town I write up experiments that we do analysis, and try to find trends in long-term data.
So you operate kind of between the station in town, and then you go out to field station. How many field stations are there that you go to, or is this like one of the only ones in this area, or what?
This is the only one down here that NOAA has, as far as the field station goes. There's some others up north, but this is the one that I work in.
So do you go out and work in the field in other areas?
Before I exclusively worked for Littleport, I was going out on ocean cruises for surface trawl sampling. Also with NOAA, and that was for the pink salmon forecast.
So this is kind of like when you're not here, then you're in town taking research and working it and that kind of thing, and the data and
But it's all data that's generated down here.
Gotcha. Okay. And so NOAA contracts with the company that you work for, and then okay. So what is your background? What got you into fish culture, fisheries, or whatever you want to?
I was in grad school in Georgia, and
like biology or something, or
yeah, specifically entomology.
Entomology.
And I've
Okay.
always been interested in marine studies in general, marine biology, fisheries, and I figured that was, since I was about to get my master's, that was the last chance to switch disciplines and chase that down before it was too late, before I got too specific in my studies.
So you moved from entomology to marine. What to marine?
Well, it started. I worked at a hatchery as a technician, sampling technician in Juneau, DIPAC, and then from there I got on at NOAA as a contractor, and it's been all over the place. Zooplankton studies, bomb calorimetry to figure out energy densities in fish. We've done acoustic telemetry. We've worked with AUVs with Rutgers University. We've done cooperative studies with USGS with acoustic telemetry, and we're also doing this long-term survival data and temperature data for Littleport.
So, you were speaking over our heads here on a lot of these things, but that's all right. Sounds cool. Anyway, so translate into real layman's terms the kind of data that comes out of Littleport here. That specifically, and then the rest of the data that that NOAA that you work with. How does that affect, or how does that? What are the practical applications of that as far as fisheries and sports, the sportsman end of things, as well as just understanding fish migrations and all that? What are some practical outcomes of this research that people would kind of could wrap their heads around?
Specifically for down here, the station's been here since 1934, and we've got temperatures for Tajci Creek and the air temps, the weather here for I guess almost 80 years, and so we can see definitive trends in the climate based on that. And then down here in these net pens, or these VRs, we'll shortly have juvenile Chinook salmon growing. We've been culturing Chinook salmon since 1976. They go out to the ocean for up to 4 years after we release them, and we have survival data that spans back from the 70s, and we can see trends in what's happening in the ocean through the fish that return to us.
What are some of the trends that you have seen based on this, decades-long data that's been pouring in from this from Littleport here?
The one thing that is apparent is that the number of survivals are declining.
And that is due to probably a lot of factors.
That's what we're trying to figure out. But we think it's all linked to ocean conditions, and ocean conditions are super tough to predict. But that's the goal. That's what we're trying to find out.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, this is awesome. This is information that's new to me about this here. I'm talking to different people like Dr. Longa, who specifically is involved in understanding fish genetics, and then Jared and Maria, who are in the microcosm thing of fish culture, and you're just now giving us the big picture, which is a piece of the puzzle to help us to understand what's going on here, which I, even though I've been here for going on a week, I didn't understand. So that's excellent. Is there anything else that you'd like to say about about what, Alaska? How about what do you like about living up in Alaska? You've been here now for a few years. You plan to be here for a while, you think? Or?
Oh yeah, I think we're here to stay. My girlfriend, she's also she works out at NOAA as well, and I don't know if you're a biologist and you're a nature nerd. I can't think of many other places I'd rather live. And coming from the south, where the summers are intolerably hot, the climate up here really agrees with me personally. I love the way the weather is up here. And so, I don't know. It's a great place.
Now everybody I've been talking to, I've been asking this, what about the 8 or 9 months of dreary, cold, wet winter? Now I come from western Oregon, northwestern Oregon, and so we get a lot of it, but we're not getting 300 inches of rain. I know there's maybe don't quite get that much in Juneau, but here on Baranof Island, some of the places they get 300 or so inches of rain, which is, I can't even imagine. But how do you, because you're not out here all by yourself on a station somewhere, but I mean, but how does even then, how does that affect your psyche?
You know, I don't know. Well, you know, we're standing in the wettest permanent settlement in the United States. This place gets more rain that has people living in it than anywhere else in the country. But here, whenever it rains, it truly rains. 3 to 6 inches sometimes. The record was something like 32 inches in a day back in 1962, I think. Whoa! But this place gets a lot more clear days than Juneau too. So it's kind of, you know, when it's wet outside, you do stuff inside, or you don't. You just ebb and flow with the weather, with the weather. There's a real feel of the seasons and the weather here that I've never really experienced anywhere else. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think that answers my questions. You're Tom Abbots. Abbots, and you're from Juneau. Yep. Okay, and you work for NOAA? That's right. And now here, you just cruised in, here's your boat, you and your family, and your wife and kids just cruised in on this boat a few minutes ago, and you're cruising around and just, saying hi to people, or you got stuff to do?
Yeah, a little bit just relaxation and vacation, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Now
messing around.
So you were the maintenance man here at Little Port Walter for, you say, 6 years? Yeah. And so what did you do here?
I just general facilities maintenance stuff.
Yeah, I think they really need somebody like you back here again, from what I'm hearing. Now you've moved up the food chain a little bit.
I started out in Juneau, same position.
No, you work for NOAA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And transferred down here after about a year and a half in Juneau. Spent 6 years here, and then just been back there about a year.
Now, did you have your kids here then?
Yep.
So you lived over in the little place over there, right, where Bob and I have been for the last week. That's really not a bad place to be. Yeah. And so, what do you do for NOAA up in Juneau?
Facilities maintenance again, a lot more industrial stuff.
Okay, at their HQ there.
Yep.
So your boat says Auk Bay on it. Yeah, so I presume you must have a house somewhere around there, and then this is your car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
One of your cars. Yeah. Probably have a car and a car boat.
Yeah, it's fortunately my road car isn't near as new or nice as this. But.
Yeah. And so, how long have you been in Alaska? Are you a native or are you transplant?
I'm a transplant. We came up from Washington.
Okay.
We're on Whidbey Island.
Yeah, I've been there a lot of times. Cool. Yeah. So what brought you up? How long ago, and what brought you up here?
We actually moved. I worked for Alaska Airlines right out of the military. I got hired as a mechanic with Alaska Airlines in Anchorage. Yeah. Moved to Fairbanks about a year and a half after.
And you didn't like the winters up there too long?
Well, Anchorage was sort of a big city, a lot of access. So we were into the wilderness thing quite a bit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good access, but big city. So we actually moved to Fairbanks for 4.5 years or so. And messed around in the interior quite a bit. Spending that time in Washington and Whidbey Island really got attached to the ocean.
Yeah.
So wanted to get back to the salt water, so we moved to Juneau. And I worked with Alaskan Airlines there for another 5 or 6 years. And they were offering a early retirement sort of incentive. Right about the time that this job with NOAA was opening up, so I jumped on that and transferred over some military time. And
wow, it just worked out for you.
yeah, it kind of worked out.
And so you like living down in the southeast, the coastal areas better, a little more temperate climate, the winters aren't quite so harsh, or what?
Yep.
Better place to have kids and all that stuff,
Right.
and then they've got more water.
Yeah, we really enjoy the salt water and all the
Yeah.
opportunities there.
Yeah.
A lot of subsistence harvesting and things like that.
So as you're cruising around in your boat, like you stop in different places, and like what are you doing for recreation? It's just other than just getting out, doing a little trolling. Well, now I guess they shut the salmon down, so forget that. But so you're what do you?
Yeah, we do a lot of beach combing with the kids when it's nice.
Oh yeah, what are you looking for?
Various things. We picked up a lot of hardballs. There's a lot of
Yeah, beach. So you
a lot of hidden treasures out there.
yeah, like
Those buoys.
so these are the things that get loose from the fishing.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff's from Japan. If you look at the labels on it, they're all Japanese.
So like is that plastic or is that metal? That gray colored one down there.
The gray color one's a poly.
Oh, it's all poly.
I think the big yellow one's fiberglass.
So what's the novelty of collecting these? Is that just for your own fun?
I don't know.
Now, is it true that it's got Japanese writing on it? Is it true that maybe up closer to? Looks like you've been to Hawaii too, huh? And you can pick this up on the Hawaii, the lake. So, is it true that talking to Maria, she said it is true. I'll get a second witness on that. Up in some of the islands up on the mainland, you can go back and you still find a lot of Japanese the glass floats. There's just tons of places, or places where they collect, or is that an urban legend?
Less and less frequent. We found one. Well, actually found two in our time down here. One little one that was actually the old aged bubbled glass, hard blowing.
Yeah, sure. That would be the early 1900s probably.
And we found really one big cast one that had broken on the beach just days before we got there.
Cast.
You could see a rim on it. I don't know how they actually
Cast aluminum or?
No, it was glass. I'm not sure.
Oh, cast. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a little bit rarer. Yeah. So you're beach combing and with the kids. What else? Just
hiking. And,
hiking. Okay, stopping at certain places and that and yeah.
Just getting back on game trails and hiking up in the woods.
So yeah. Do you like go out hunting and do some of this too on your boat?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be gone for?
We've got 1 week of vacation, so we'll be back next.
So you're just cruising around?
Yeah.
Stopping and visiting people on the way?
Yep.
Where are you headed for next?
I'm not sure. Look at the weather. It's always depending on the weather. So
like when the weather's a little bit bad, you just pull into a port somewhere, or a little secluded bay. You kind of know where to go and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I've well versed on the inlets by now, so we've been.
But you have to be.
Yeah.
Now, will this boat, you got to be like on a dock, or do you have to this boat pull up on a beach if it's the right kind of beach, or what?
No, it's inboard outboard, so you can't beach it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but then I see you got kayaks up there. You can, if you had to, you could beach it or anchor it, and you probably don't want to have to do that though. Camp on. Oh, you could just anchor and then stay in your cabin, and then you can get on shore with your kayaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of kayaking around.
Nice. And you got 2 kids?
Yep.
A boy and a girl?
Right.
Yeah, and they're nice, and they like this kind of lifestyle. I mean, what kid wouldn't, huh?
Yeah. It's pretty nice for them.
Cool. Anything else you want to say about Alaska? I don't want to take your time because you came here to visit people, not to be interviewed by me. But I'm jumping at. I just want to, I'm enthralled. I'm an outdoorsman in Oregon. I own a tree care company and I'm outside all the time, but this is like a whole new thing to me, so I'm just kind of like enjoying it and want to share it with people. So anything you want to?
Yeah, I don't know anything specific. It's definitely a unique opportunity to be here. And
cool.
It's always been fun.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. We're coming into Port Armstrong here. This is another fish hatchery, and this is just a few miles, I don't know, whatever, 10, 20 miles south of Little Port Walter. And this is a commercial fish hatchery. They raise millions, tens of millions of salmon, about 5 different types of salmon. And this is the, over here, this is the actual fish hatchery is right in there. All kinds of fish pens. And you can see the snow-covered mountains. There's a fish processing barge that they pull out and they process fish. So this is not run by the government. This is run by the commercial fisheries of Alaska, by the commercial fishermen, and that way they are those that fish also help to replenish the stocks that they fish from. Oh, here we go. This is the fish hatchery here at Port Armstrong. This is Port Armstrong, right? Yep. Make sure I get the right. Port Armstrong. Yeah. Little, all kinds of little salmon, different varieties. They raise about 175 million here fish. These are all little fries. Look down in there. They're feeding them constantly. So this is Port Armstrong, and this is where the people live here. Got their own little community here, living in cabins. Hey, duck! Chickens! Quack, 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 quack. Oh yeah, got some excitement going on here. There's the yak over there, and there's the little port. This is a party celebrating the release of the salmon smolt at Port Armstrong. They came by to pick up the mail from the EAC, and lo and behold, we came into a little get-together. This is David? Ben. Ben.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's David over there.
I have my guitar, yeah.
And of course, the bear spray isn't too far away, sitting right there on the rail, because the grizzly bears from... Oh, this is for the meat? Capsicum for the meat, huh?
For the chickens.
Oh, okay. Oh, the chickens.
I live there now, but I'm from San Diego. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Gun by the door. Rifle.
Gorgeous and warm, yeah. Super hot.
Some whale bones to help hold the wood down. Some whale vertebrae to hold this pile of wood down. What a beautiful spot. This is awesome. Awesome. You are very blessed. Have you been here quite a while?
I've been on this side of this island since 1989.
Ah.
I leave once a year, maybe.
Well, you're not missing much.
I know. The older I get, the less I want to go anywhere.
I hear you.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I've been on this shoreline since '89.
Are you the manager of this fish hatchery?
Yeah.
Quite an operation.
It's good.
Justin showed us around a little earlier. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We do a lot of stuff. Yeah. I think it's a good thing because all we're doing is making a few more fish.
That's it. What's bad about that?
It's harming anything.
That's exactly, absolutely.
We're pretty lucky to have those two really beautiful lakes up here that are crystal clean.
Yeah.
Crystal clean.
I saw the hydroelectric plant you have there. I mean, that's just all pretty self-sustaining.
Yeah, no, we love that. power. I have $2,000 in the whole budget for the whole year for petroleum products at this hatchery.
Hey.
And at the end of the year, there's usually a chunk left of money in there. We don't burn any fuel. I mean, it is electric. But it sure is nice to have it.
Yeah. Did you raise your kids here?
Yeah. 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that?
Well, it
Do they appreciate it as much as you do? Sometimes the kids don't always want to do it.
They grew up, so they moved, but they moved to Sitka. Actually, my daughter,
That's not the end of the world.
she's actually here for this 2 weeks. She just came yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
So they moved as far as Sitka.
Yeah. Well,
That makes me happy.
yeah.
Far.
Well, do you think they'll stay there for a while, or who
I
knows?
think they will. I think
Yeah.
they like it. They want to stay in Alaska.
Well,
Sitka's okay, I suppose. I'm glad they didn't go to LA or some
yeah, right.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, they grew up pretty well. They were homeschooled.
Yeah,
I feel pretty lucky.
you are blessed. You are blessed.
I agree.
You're very blessed.
I don't think it could be any better, really. Got everything here. I mean, everything. I'm still away from all the house.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just a boat ride or a float plane away. You know, trip away from the things you need.
Things I need come once a week on the EF.
There you go.
If I need something,
Yeah.
not me.
There you go.
It's pretty amazing, really. Yeah.
How do the long winters affect? You've probably gotten used to it, but do people get a little cabin fever and get a little?
Well, the people that don't
They're not the ones that stay.
stay, yes. You gotta learn how to live on
Yeah.
it. You gotta learn to get a hobby. You gotta learn not to mind the rain.
Well,
I mean, we get about 300 inches
Yeah,
a year
yeah.
precipitation.
Yeah, we complain with our 40 to 50 inches of rain in Northwest Oregon. So
Right there, where Jared lives, right behind my Big Fort, is the second rainiest spot in the United States.
yeah,
300 some inches. We get about 300, a little over 300 every year. Right
yeah,
there. I
yeah,
mean, that's 3 times more rain than Sitka gets.
yeah,
That's a lot of rain.
yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah. No, I mean, just already in May. This May has been really wet. We got about 19 inches of rain in May. That's in May.
19.
19 in May.
Yeah.
I seen.
And that's a dry month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One year, I think the highest I seen was 66 in October, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. That's a lot of rain.
Yeah, that is. It
It's
is.
pretty moist.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we got 12 feet in one summer. Fort Petersburg, I remember.
12 feet of rain.
Yeah, 12 feet of rain in summer.
So you guys could have a rain gauge that would put Ketchikan's to shame.
Oh yeah. I mean, even Petersburg is drier. Drying up pretty quick. Anybody needs a burger?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, we need the water, so if I don't have water, I don't have no fish either. The generator quits, the electricity quits, well, I guess I turn my candle on, but if the water quits, I don't have fish.
Yeah, right.